Hey everyone, welcome. Thanks for being here at USA Crypto Group for this AMA session. We have Ethereal with us today. Ethereal is a disruptive technology platform designed with a sole purpose, and that is to deliver a safe, sustainable, and automated passive income. With that, I'd like to welcome Chris and Kuzo from the team. If you guys can start out introducing yourself, talk about your team, and give us a bit of insight on your experience and background, please.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Seattle. Glad to be here, guys. My name is Kuzo. I'm here on behalf of Team Ethereal. We are on Ethereum blockchain when we launch. As far as my background, I came into crypto via altcoin called VeChain. That was a few years ago. I still own it, and then I got exposed to DeFi via SafeMoon, and I am from that generation. I've served on various projects as an advisor, their financial guy, structure, you name it. So I was approached by Ethereal team a while back when they were on V1. We will talk more about how that process evolved, but today, we're going to talk about what Ethereal stands for today. As you just outlined, we are basically a passive income project. And the best thing about this project is that it does not require people to invest after you in order for you to sell your rewards to make money. Okay. If I don't want to be too techie about it, so that, in essence, that's what the project is. It's a basic passive income project that does not rely on outside investors. It continues to buy on the chart so you can sell your daily rewards, because we have dedicated 3 streams of income, which we will get into in a little detail. But that's a little bit about the project, a little bit about myself. Chris, if you want to go.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Christopher. I'm the CTO of Ethereal Nodez. We have a team of roughly 13 people between the different functions and the advisors and the founders. So I just wanted to share the founders' vision. The founders' vision is globally, they are aiming to try to beat the sell pressure. Okay, so we know that in crypto, the biggest problem is to, let's say, feed the FOMO to keep the buy pressure over the sell pressure, specifically on passive income projects. They had that vision to create external income sources which would feed directly the project and beat that sell pressure and even overcome it in order to try to create a constant, let's say, buy pressure and increase on the token price and charts. So this is the global vision. As for me, I already said it, I'm French. I have a total technical background. I'm electronic engineer. I'm 45, 25 years experience in the normal industry, in the Web3 for roughly 10 years, dev since 2 years, investors before, mostly. I kind of understand very well how crypto works and everything. And after getting rugged and scammed a bit too much, I decided to, let's say, bridge the fence and become a dev and try to develop a project that would be community-oriented, transparent, totally open, and let's say, entirely dedicated to try to create a bridge between Web3 and the real world. So that's why I integrate Ethereal, because the concept spoke to me, and really I was really amazed by the idea and the vision, and this is what we are trying to make real.
Appreciate that there, Kuzo and Chris, for the introduction there. Yeah, I mean, the projects, evidently you guys are set out to create passive income, right? By having multiple ways of creating revenues, not just from the volume like itself, like you guys said, that most of the projects depend on the volume in order to create rewards, right? So you guys set out to create external revenues, which we will go in depth. But I also want to touch on a bit about the founder. How were you guys approached, and could you guys give us a background on this founder? Because he's not here today, right?
No, he's not here today. There are two founders, Patrick and Carl. The backstory is, and so there's a whale group called MMKK. Few months ago, Patrick and Carl came in and pitched the project as it was in V1. So let's just get right into it. We saw the math behind it, the concept behind it. It was live on Matic. Okay, we saw how the bot was working. It's essentially a rebalancing bot, and Chris will go into detail how that works. And at that point, the rebalancing bot, which balances your liquidity against other tokens, along with the front run bot, which I don't have to explain, people know usually what front run bot is. If you bought a 0% token or 1% token and you see a buy comes right before you and sells right after you. So that's a front run bot. So those two things were combined into one bot, and that's how the project was pitched to us as an investors. When we saw that in reality, the conception, it was a great idea. The math behind it was sound, but what the project needed was it needed more liquidity. Those bots needed more liquidity. The team needed to be structured. Also, those bots were jamming up, and later on, we had discovered that those had to be separated. So the backstory is we saw this project as investors a few months ago, being live on that chain. We saw how it should be working, and it was working temporarily. And looking at what this could do for people who are looking for passive income, a realistic passive income, not as a Ponzi scheme, because it did not rely on anyone to buy the token for the price to go up. The bots were doing that job for you. All you had to do was just purchase your node, and the bots were making those trades, and they were bringing back those extra dollars, and they were buying it on the chart for you to cash out every single day. So it was an amazing concept in that way, but it had some issues. So what we decided to do at that point, based on what Carl and Patrick had pitched, that they were looking for advice, they were looking for some help in technical sides as well. They did have some developers that they were working with where they were not competent developers. So from that point on, this project started its journey to get equipped with competent team and a development company who could actually realize the dreams of Patrick and Carl and the math and the algos that they had written down. So that's the backstory of how we came across Ethereal at that point. So I hope I try to explain it that way. I did not mean to mention any other groups or anything, but that's the story. That's how I got exposed to it. And once those new team members started to put a structure in place, the development company that we hooked them up with, Fifth Web, is a Trust Flame is the main developer. A lot of people in this space know him. It's his company. So once those outsized developers, in-house team, when those things started to come together, it was natural for the project to be revamped. Also, not to be on Matic anymore. The project had to be where the most of the volume of the crypto is, which is on Ethereum blockchain. So those are the changes behind why the relaunch and how those bots had to be put in work, being separate, work efficient, and can support the sell pressure, daily sell pressure that it will occur by having people sell every day on their passive income rewards. So hopefully I made a little bit of sense on the backstory here on Ethereal.
No, you do, and I appreciate that. Now, apparently, both you and Chris are here today with us, so you guys have to play an important role in the project. You mentioned that you advise for multiple projects, etc. What is your main role in this project here, Kazuo, and also Chris? You said Fifth Web is the main people that do the developing. How about you, Chris? Because I see that you are a developer as well. Are you the CTO, or what is your role in this project?
Yes, I am the CTO. My role has been to design, structure the overall technical part of the project, so all the solidity contracts and everything, and and provide to Fifth Web all the, let's say, book of requirement and book specs with all the functionalities and how we want them to work. I'm also a dev. The point is, I've been a manager for 20 years, so I try to manage the global project to have a clear view and separate the different function and ensure that each function will be, let's say, solid and working properly.
Yeah, as for me, I serve as an advisor and a spokesperson right now, but I try to help out the team in any way I can. Patrick and Carl are the founders. If you go into the team section of the website, you could see the core team members and their bio and socials. They are listed there. There are multiple AMAs that the project has done where most of the team was live, doxed on video, and etc. So somebody could check those out if you're interested in that. But that is my role. And Chris just outlined, even though the Fifth Web was hired to do certain part of the technical development on certain bots. So yes, they are heavily involved that way, but Chris oversees all the technical, I would say, part of when it comes to the contracts, its treasuries, contracts, the reward contracts, and the parameters that they have set for the development company on how they want this whole technology, the whole ecosystem to work.
I appreciate that. So both you guys play a very crucial role, especially Chris. It seems like you came from a technical background, technology background as well, and you kind of oversee the project. So, wow, that's a very crucial role. Oh yeah, no, I like to go in depth with the team because I think with every project, right, I think the team is the most crucial aspect of any project for me. I'm sure along with a lot of people out there as well. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to go in depth about the team. And you guys said you guys have a team of 30 people. Is that correct? Did I hear correctly?
13.
13 people. Okay, that's pretty massive. All right, guys. Well, apparently we are here and we are on version 2 right now. Like Kuzo mentioned, there was a V1, version 1 was launched over in Polygon Matic chain. And there was also a few things that didn't do well. So now they're moving to V2. Can I ask you guys one last question regarding that? At V1, how many team members did you guys have? And did you guys grow from V2? Did you guys put together a bigger team for V2?
I think Chris is probably better positioned to answer that. Go ahead.
Yeah. V1 was composed of 5 or 6 people. On V2, we enlarged the team and we dedicated functions because we wanted, we understood that the project has to go bigger. Okay, that's why we are relaunching on ETH and not on Polygon because 85% of the volumes are on ETH. The biggest token are on ETH. So if you want to rebalance and create opportunities for the trading bots, ETH is let's say the best place to be. So yeah, let's say our motto is go big or go home. So we needed to scale up to ensure that this project would see the light of day and would strive.
I appreciate that. Now, Chris, with the version 1, apparently you guys ran into some issue that you felt that you need to make improvement, as well as creating a bigger team. Could you name a few things that you guys had a problem with, and also if you guys are confident that you guys at this time around that it would be a success? Could you speak on that a bit? What are the things that you saw, and you think what are the ways that you guys can improve on this version 2?
Yeah, for sure. The first issue that we saw the former project faced is there was only one bot handling the rebalancing and the front run function. The front run bot was, let's say, a low-key front run bot, which was trying to front run, but not really at, let's say, low nodes level. So, and it was trying to do both at the same time. So there was some algorithmic issues which were generating opportunities on both sides in the same time. So the bots were, let's say, eating each other. So one was selling, the other one was buying, and it was creating costs overall on the project, which ended up with a kind of mess up at the end, and they lost a part of the liquidity, not much, but luckily, at some point they had a reverse effect on the bots functioning because they were just competing each other. So that's one of the main points we did for this one is we totally separated the two bots, and they will be running independently, and they won't be running against each other because they won't be handling the same kind of tokens.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Now, besides those problems, now the efficiency of that, the rate of efficiency and success, you would say it was pretty successful as far as doing the arbitraging of the bot?
Yes, what we saw on Polygon, which has low volumes and not much of big tokens, is, for example, the arbitrage bot succeeded to push the token price from $10 to $80 before the, let's say, the misfunctioning. So the math works, okay? And we try them on the arbitrage bot, also on ETH, on testnet. And typically we run it for two weeks period, and the bot could generate 66 ETH on one pair on testnet, where the volumes are really lower. And globally we saw that the maths were functioning. We saw that the opportunities were functioning, and we understood exactly the critical mass we needed for the LPs and everything. So we are ready to scale up on the real world.
That is awesome. And I think that's part of just any business, right? I think, with every business, it's not smooth sailing all the way, right? You will find problems, and what's more important is that you learn from the problems and make an improvement. That's just the reality of every project. So yeah, no, I appreciate your answers there. It seems like you guys know what needs to be done, what needs to happen. So that's a great thing. All right, so let's get into the pre-sale right now, the private sale right now. So right now, you guys are currently doing a private sale. What is the total raise to date, and how many rounds will you have?
I'm looking for Hulk in this VC if he is available. He is a core member. He is a financial guy. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Hulk. Is that you, Hulk? I don't see it. I can hear you. I don't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, I'll take over if Hulk is unable to speak. Right now, the last numbers that I saw that we have raised upwards of around $700,000. Those contributions are all in stable coins, by the way. So that's where the raise stands from the last numbers that I saw. I'm sorry, I don't know if what was the other part of your question?
Oh yeah, and how many rounds is this the only round that you guys will be doing for the private sales, or how many rounds that you had already?
We had phases of this private. We just concluded yesterday our second phase, and now we are on our final phase of raise, which is set to conclude on Saturday. We are only selling nodes. At one point in earlier phases, we were selling loose tokens, but those things have been eliminated. Some of the higher nodes that were being sold, they were also been eliminated, but we still have few nodes that are available until Saturday. That's where the private sale stands.
Okay, perfect. So Saturday will be the last day. So currently you guys are around 700K, 700,000 right now. And what would you be strive to achieve on the pre-sale?
We don't limit. If I explain you the principle of the arbitrage bot and everything, you might of the free, let's say, source of income, you will understand that the more we can raise, the better the system will work, because we are scaling up all the time. So when we come to the example, I will explain you. But we set up that our minimum critical mass was 400K to have, let's say, a global system that would beat the sell pressure. and we are currently at 700K, which means that we might perform well. The idea is simple. The system is auto-feeding itself. So normally the gains and the results are exponential day after day. So if we start high, we'll have results and we'll go up really fast. If we start lower, we'll take a bit of time to ramp up.
I see. So the more money you raise, the more capital you have, because you guys also do a BTC mining, which we'll go in depth on those utilities that you guys have going on, or ways that you guys can generate external revenue. So right now, your expectation was 400K, like you said, and right now you're currently at 700K already, and that's without the pre-sale, right? So I'm assuming that you said there's no cap. So I'm assuming that the pre-sale will be fair launch. Is that correct?
Yes, in fact, the idea is simple. Initially, when we will launch, we'll have mostly nodes that will give rewards on a daily basis, from 0.4% to 1.2%, depending on the node size. Okay, so on the size of the investment, a bit of loose token, but not much, and most of the token will be in the LP. So most of the tokens will be paired with the LP, and the LP will be composed mostly from the raise.
I see. Awesome. All right. Thanks for that. And the pre-sale link, guy, looks like they did have an updated pre-sale link, and that's pinned in our room there. There's actually two banners. There's the first one. There's a second one. This second one is for the notes only, and it ends on this Saturday here. So if you guys want to jump on it, it's pinned in our room. All right. Well, Cuzzo, Chris, I know you guys have the notes. You guys have the miners. You have the arbitraging bot. You have the DEX. What would you like to speak on first?
Hey man, you know what? I think we're going to back up a little bit here for a couple of minutes. I feel like we're jumping all over the place, and I have a feeling that a lot of people in here that have not heard about Ethereal before or don't know anything, they might be confused of what's going on. And if you don't mind, I'll just back up a couple of minutes and kind of paint the picture of what's happening and where this has been and where this is going, if you don't mind.
Definitely. Please do.
All right. So yes, we talked about the V1 and how it was on Matic and stuff. So when it comes to the team that's there now, they were mostly introduced as investors. Okay, when we saw what this project could do and all the team that you see now, the tech that you see behind it now, it's an improvement on the concept, which was perfectly fine. So when you guys looking at this project, look at the prism of passive income, what it's supposed to be, and compared to other passive income projects, okay? And when we talk about these bots, how they function is important to understand. And I hope Chris gets to talk about some of those things, that especially how the rebalance works. So then the thing will start to make themselves clear to you is, why is the raise amount not capped? Because one of the things that we found when this was running on Matic, that these bots require huge amount of liquidity, because the rebalancing in its essence is that you pair your token with, let's say, Shiba, and when Shiba price goes up, you could leverage that price against your token and profit from that. You could choose to do what you want. So the mechanism of that requires huge amount of liquidity, you see. And when you're running a front run bot, whether you're running on Ethereum or Binance, you also need a huge amount of money in the bot to actually leverage high cap trades. So when you start to dissect the project in that way, also then the adding of the mining facilities, these things will start to make sense to you. Hey, okay, the V1, even though that token price rose up to $80 per token, but it could do a lot more, right? To cancel your daily rewards that sell pressure, you need more volume. So, okay, adding the mining thing. So what would that require? That would require a larger team, right? So all these things All the team members that you see, we're new to this project. We were not involved in V1, right? We joined in after seeing what this could do. So I want to make sure that if you've not heard about the passive income type of project and what it entails and how Ethereum is different, it's super important to understand the technology behind it and how it changed and evolved. It's not that it didn't work. It actually worked perfectly. People made a lot of money, but it could do a lot more, and it could do a lot more, and it should do a lot more on Ethereum. So that's where that is. And I wanted to kind of emphasize on that. And anybody who has not been paying attention, what Ethereal Nodes really is.
I appreciate that, Kazo, for emphasize on some of those points there, and it made it just more clear for everyone listening. So I appreciate that. Is there anything else that you guys want to speak on before we go into the your utilities or the ways that you guys generate revenues?
No, I think it's perfect time to go over each of the utilities, and I think, Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you could in depth explain to some of the people who may not be tech savvy, how does your rebalancing bot works and how it is game changer?
Yes, we'll start by let's say the most advanced tech that we have and that will be totally ready at launch, which is the rebalancing bot. So we call it an arbitrage bot, but it's not an arbitrage bot. It's really a rebalancing bot. If you know what an arbitrage bot is it's just arbitraging the price of a token between different exchanges or different chains. So it buys at a lower price and sells at a higher price the same token. The rebalancing bot is a bit different. So we are creating pairs with the main token on ETH. So I will take two examples, Doge and Shiba, like Kuzo said. So if Shiba goes up, okay, your LP, Shiba Real, will go up in value. Doge will remain under, okay? So what we will do is we will sell part of the Shiba and Real from the Shiba pair, and we will buy part of the Doge and Real pair. In between, we will keep part of the gain, which is the difference between the Shiba price and the Doge price. On the Real, if you understand the mechanism, you see that we are selling less token than we are buying because we are selling them at a higher price and we are buying them at a lower price. Okay, LPs are independent, so the real price from Doge or from Shiba will live independently on the chain, which means that we'll have reals at different prices depending on which token you are comparing it to. Okay, so now imagine that we put $1,000 into the Shiba LP pair and $1,000 into the Doge LP pair. We need 1.5% difference to at least cover the gas fee, and over 1.5% difference between the, let's say, the two tokens price of the two pairs. Then we can create an opportunity of trading between the pairs. Okay, if we put $10,000, then we need 0.15% difference to create an opportunity of trading. If we put $100,000, we need 0.015%. Okay. So what I just explained is when one of the pairs is going up, but when the pairs are going down, it's the same. As long as there is a difference in between the going down, you still generate, let's say, a buy pressure on the real token. Okay, your LP is decreasing a bit, but you have an opportunity to rebound later, and you are reinforcing your liquidities when it's going down. So you're kind of DCAing, okay, with the liquidity you have available. So now just multiply it over with 50 pair or 50 LPs or 100 LPs with $10,000 each, and you imagine the number of trading opportunities we can generate every day and the number of dust gain we can accumulate non-stop, and the buy pressure will create on real token. That's the principle of the rebalancing bot.
Wow. Now, have you guys tested this out yet, Kuzo? This is is this an improvement from V1? And have you guys tested what you just explained, Al? And how did that go?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did test it on testnet. As I told you earlier, within 2 weeks, the bot was able to generate 66 ETH of gains, just playing on one pair. So just playing on ups and downs on one pair.
Wow.
So yeah, so we validated the principle, validated the math. We checked thoroughly that it was doing exactly what it was supposed to. We will fine-tune it on the go also, depending on the size of the different LPs, but the bot is totally independent. We generate the first LPs, and then the bot will rebalance between the LPs as much as he wants. And if at some point there's a token that does, I don't know, plus 100%, okay, it will sell mostly all the LP and cash in totally on that LP and continue rebalancing the other LPs.
Yeah, and like I said before, that's an autonomous algorithm that's running it. So it's not a manual process. The bot is autonomous, and it will consistently doing this 24/7 as long as you allow it to do. Yes, of course, you could pause it if you need to be, but this AMA, this whole thing, and if anybody's listening or rewinding or something, just fast forward to 25 past the hour and listen to what Chris said. This is in the essence of meats and bones of this project and why it does not need a buying pressure from anybody else to buy in order for the token price to go up and keep going up.
Awesome. Now, I mean, apparently the way you explain it, and it seems that you guys have tested it out, it seems to be very profitable, which is actually a very crucial aspect of a project, because a usual project will rely on volume, trading volume to give you rewards. Now, this bot, what they're creating is it does not rely on the trading volume. This is like almost an external revenue coming in, which is very crucial to bring you passive income. Now, could you guys explain how these profits get returned back to the investors?
Yes. So we have, let's say, free use of those gains. So we are accumulating the gains, and from the gains, 25% of the gains will be used to buy back and burn the real token, so creating another, let's say, source of buying pressure on top of the trading of the arbitrage bot itself. Okay. The second source will be used to, let's say, increase the LPs of the arbitrage bot, increase the size of the front run fund, or increase also the mining fleet. Okay, so we will use 50% of the gains to increase globally the coverage of our source of income, so generating more incomes on the go. Okay, and 25% will go into a reserve fund, which would be a kind of security net in case we have bad days, which can happen if, for example, we have a day where all the tokens are collapsing roughly the same percentage, like a total collapse of Ethereum, at some point. We saw it happening not so long ago. There are some days where, I mean, the tokens are highly.
I think Chris got cut off or something.
I think he did.
Yeah, I think what he was trying to describe to everyone was a black swan events that happen every once in a while. Feds come out with something, or you know, everything kind of like down 10% or 15%, and so the bots are designed that way where they could pause. They do have stop losses built in, things of that nature. But as long as there is some kind of volatility and not just one-way movement, everything is fine. And those things and those scenarios and then black swan events are all been tested. Yes, I think that's what he was trying to describe.
You know, I love that. I love that you guys thought about the safety measures as well. Events like that will bound to happen, right? We're in the crypto space, so I'm glad that you guys have that reserve or that safety measure in place.
Yeah, it's super important because the volatility for traders, any traders, stock market, anybody, if you're trading anything, you'd like volatility. You like things going up and you like things coming down, because you can leverage it both ways. It's just a one-sided movement, especially the downward consistent basis is what usually gets you in trouble. So that's why those things are built in it. Okay, so if one day you see something that every single token on, let's say, top 50 tokens in Ethereum, they're all down 10% consistently at the same time. Yeah, so the bot will say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to take a breather. We have reserve funds to keep funding the rewards. That's part of it. And I know Patrick has also discussed part of those funds to be also buyback and burns and things like that. So there are some contingency plans that are built into it, because I don't want to sit here and say, every day is going to be a rosy day on the market, even though, it could be sideways, which is perfectly fine. But there are some days every once in a while, every few months, that you see that this happens.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, you guys
Exactly.
have thought out the stop loss as well, and the reserve. And I think right now, I mean, if we look at the market, I think it's a great time right now for you guys to launch this project.
Yeah, it's a great time altogether, because
we are really on a roll.
Sorry, Chris, to cut you off, but go ahead. But what I was going to say, that it's great time if you understand how the trading works, because people could trade both ways. When the market's up or down, it doesn't matter. You could make money if you know how to. It's just the one-sided on the downturn that's usually gets you in trouble. So market's going up, great. Everybody's happy. That means people are a little bit more I don't know, cavalier with their investments. So yeah, that's a good news. But as far as this tech goes, it does not require for market to consistently go up for it to make its money. Chris, if you want to add to that.
No, I just wanted to say, in the real world, risk management is a key. So we can't come here in this AMA and tell you, yeah, everything is marvelous, the technology works perfectly, flawlessly, nonstop. No, we know that we'll have some bad days. We know also that there will be not numerous, because globally the system works on ups and downs as long as there are differences. So except a crash of the main tokens, which are Ethereum, BTC, or whatever, we should not see those bad days so often. So the reserve fund is really here for that. It's really our safety net to ensure that we will be able to constantly operate and allow those bad days to happen.
Correct. Like you said, risk management is the key when it comes to trading. Now, did you guys, your team, you guys came from a trading background? I mean, apparently, right? I mean, you guys have to think about this, the whole technicalities, how it's going to work, how it's going to trade, the stop loss and the reserve and the safety nets, etc. So it seems like you guys also came from a pretty good trading background, correct?
Yes, I mean, first of all, I would say the founders definitely have, and they're huge on trading and what it takes on to make money on every type of market conditions. There's a few members on the team that are also, traders on the stock market as well. If I didn't mention, yes, I do trade stocks on a daily basis, but mainly options. So we do have that common lingo in the team room when we start talking about certain things. Yes, we do understand your risk management, do understand what the stop losses are. And you need to be building a reserve for some of those bad days, and more importantly, some days you just need to take off. And when you do that, when you said, okay, we're not going to go ahead and keep the bot running today, even though the front run bot might still be doing its thing. So that's why you have those reserves, et cetera, that Chris was talking about.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, the technology, I mean, it looks like you did describe it, Chris, but it seems like to simplify, you guys just pretty much found a way to capitalize on the imbalance of the liquidity pool, pretty much, right? The pair.
Exactly.
All right, sounds
That's exactly
great.
it. Instead of balancing between exchanges or whatever, we are balancing between the different LPs on the main token on ETH.
That makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, if anyone understand about impermanent loss, right, and LP, and I think that's pretty, you understand the concept here. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Very, very awesome. Now, Chris, you're the guy, you're the brain behind this technology.
I'm globally, let's say the architect or the designer. I'm not the brain behind the technology. The brain behind the technology is Trace Flame from this web, especially on the arbitrage bot. And Patrick, the founder, is let's say the guy who wrote the math I just took everything and made it work all together.
That is awesome. That is awesome. All right. Yeah. Thanks for the in-depth explanation for that. Sounds very interesting. I'm actually very interested in the project now that talking to you guys about it.
We see Seattle now. You starting to
So we just explained the arbitrage bot. Sorry.
Chris,
Yeah,
go ahead.
excuse me, Kuzo. I was just saying, yeah, we just explained the arbitrage bots. Now we have two other sources of incomes: a mining fleet, so miners which will mine BTC, LTC, or whatever. We have a big advantage on it is we have almost zero operational cost. That's a specific agreement the founders have with an industrial guy. He's, let's say, lending us a space to deploy our mining fleet in California. He has his own electricity source, so in fact he entered the project and had some nodes back against let's say almost zero cost in operation, which means that no matter what the cost of cryptos is, we would generate benefits out of the miners.
Whoa, so you said that's a lot to take in there. So you say the owner, so you guys gonna be mining BTC with zero cost of operations. What about the supplies currently right now? How did you guys acquire that? And would be any of these funds that you guys are raising go into buying the hardware to mine BTC, or is that already done with?
Almost zero cost of operation. Yeah. Almost zero cost of operation because we still have to buy the miners and there is, let's say, amortization of them. But the amortization represents almost nothing into the let's say the operational cost. Most of the cost is electricity, and that we have it for almost zero, which means that globally, what we'll be mining will be, or 80% of what we'll be mining will be a gain for the project. So it will be reinjected into the project directly. We currently acquired 30 miners. It's about 100K of financing that the founders finance from their pocket to start with. And we will grow the mining fleet as long as we generate gains. And from also the raise we are doing, part of the raise will go into acquiring more miners.
I see. Okay, so the founder put out 100K to acquire 30 miners already, and part of the raised money will be used to acquire more miners as well. Now, the 100K there, Chris, would that get reimbursed back to the owner in some way eventually down the line?
They get nodes like let's say every other investor. So the equivalent of what they invested, they will get the equivalent in nodes. Yeah.
It sounds great. Now, how do you guys ensure all the transparency of the mining fees and the arbitraging of the bots? And is that pretty clear for investors or your community to kind of see what's going on?
Yeah. So we have to separate two things. The first one is when an investor buys a node, he's receiving rewards on a daily basis at a certain percentage rate. Okay. And that yield is insured by the global supply of tokens. Okay. What the different source of incomes are influencing is the token price on one hand, okay, and the token supply, because it will do buyback and burns, which means that it will reduce globally the supply of tokens. We have a fixed supply of 150 million tokens, okay. 99% of them won't be in circulation at the beginning. They will be in our treasury contract and they will be used for LPs and reward feeding, okay. What you have to understand is we started with a fixed supply and we ensured that with a number of 10,000 nodes of each type, generated into the system, we can sustain the global rewarding system for 12 years. Okay, so the idea is, and we know that within the 12 years, we might need to, let's say, change contracts or add new utilities or functionalities or whatever. So we are quite on the safe side on this. So the point is really the arbitrage bot, the Frontrunning bot, or the mining fleet, they will be generating external value that will be used inside the project, okay, to bring more value to the token price. And the nodes holders are receiving on a daily basis tokens that they can either reinvest into nodes or sell, okay, and they will see the price increasing regularly because we'll create a buy pressure from the different mechanisms.
Correct. Yeah, because that's actually a very important point to point out there that you guys are generating, extra source of revenue to inject back into the system. That's actually very crucial. A lot of projects have tried that and have failed. I'm not gonna lie. We have a lot of projects coming through. But I think you guys have something very unique here. One of the things that I kind of sense that, you guys do well is that you guys thought everything out very well, very strategic in your approach. Even when you told me that you guys have 12 years, you guys can give rewards for 12 years. I think that's actually crucial to know, right? Because you have a lot of projects out there that start out with a lot of rewards, but it could never sustain, right? And the project just crashed. So I'm glad that you guys thought of that number as well. So 12 years, you guys able to give that the rewards. Correct there, Chris?
12 years at, let's say, a maximum allocation of 10,000 nodes of each type, which we are far from.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Yato,
Yes.
I can hear you fine.
And also your token, you're going to use the 25% of the generated fee to buy back and burn, correct? Is that what you said earlier?
Yes.
So the token become deflationary ultimately, right? So pretty much what that means is that it reduces the total supply, which brings more value to the token, high demand. So which is a great thing. All right. Now that was just
yes. We are working on all the different sides.
Yeah, I'll just make a quick comment to that on Seattle as well. The main difference from this project to any other project, and I am not going to name any names, or any other passive income project, is one thing, which is outside income coming into the project. It's not just you have set of tokens and you're just awarding people every day. Then it's basically a Ponzi, okay? That means that you're bound to run out of tokens, or you're going to have to mint them. There's no other way to reward people, and that is a burden on your liquidity, right? Because you have no way to replenish that liquidity. So that's why I said it in the beginning, if you're going to compare this, is that if you can bring outside money to buy into your charts, that will solve all things. The problem usually is that people cannot find outside money to come in and buy on your chart, which is, in other words, called revenues or outsourced income or anything like that. That's the basic difference. And another thing, I'll go as far as saying this, that it has to be viable. So this is totally a tech-based project. It's not that we're selling some goods on Amazon or something that people going to buy and profit from that can buy into chart. No. What you see every single day, if you're into crypto, you see the trading happens all day long. You see the liquidity gets rebalanced all day long. You see front-run bots running all day long. You see mining facilities mining tokens. So all that is out there. What this project is going to do is bring those technologies, those revenues into one project that normally individuals cannot afford. So if you say, I want to get a front-run bot, individual normally cannot afford it. It costs millions of dollars to actually get a proper front-run bot, okay, with those nodes and things like that, servers and etc. Same thing with rebalancer. If you want to build that technology with the rebalancing with top 50 pair, you got to have money to build tech. You got to have to run it, servers. You got to have to fund all these liquidities, and you have to do all that, right? So why I'm saying all this is that you have to understand what's behind it, what makes this token special, how does that money gets generated, brings it back into the project, buys the token, raises your price of your token every day, and sustains refills that liquidity, sustains the token price. And so you could actually every day cash out your rewards without worrying about if you are a burden to the project or if this is going to die. So this 12 years number that Chris mentioned, it's very, very conservative. And I know he likes to mention that, which is fine. When he said 10,000 nodes of each category, I mean, that's a crazy number. And he also said that, we're nowhere near that. Yes. But so you understand the sustainability comes from outside revenues coming into the project and boosting that price up. There is a I wouldn't say likely, there is a scenario where we may have to dial back this bot to not get out of hand, the token price to not get out of hand. Because if there's certain fluctuation in the market and it's crazy trading back and forth, like we had a few days ago when USDC was getting, when it depegged and all the tokens that were paired with USDC liquidity, they were boosting up in the price crazy, if you saw that. So some days like that where it could leverage huge amount of money and bring it into the project, which could shoot up the price. Because why do I say that? Because it's not that we're selling loose tokens. We're not, right? We're selling nodes, which means there are no loose tokens to be dumped heavily on the market. So everybody can only sell what they get awarded every single day. So when I say that the token price, there's a scenario that could get out of hand, it's one of those things, and we may have to dial it back. So when you're comparing the project, the simplest thing you could look at it, how can this sustain? It could only sustain if you have outside money coming in. There's no other model that can sustain any rewards token. So this is the basic principle behind it.
I couldn't agree more on that there, Kazo. That is the basic principle behind every crypto project, is that you definitely need to find ways to generate an external stream of revenue. And seems like you guys have thought out all the technicalities behind it in order for it to work out here. So good job on that, man. You guys, I think you guys may have something here. All right, now that was the second source of revenue. What is the third one there? Oh, we may have a few more, correct?
Yeah, the third source is the front-run bot. So the front-run bot, as Kuzo said, requires a lot of fund to be operated. We are talking about several hundred of thousands of dollars each month to run it. So the front-run bot is let's say a standard front-run bot. What we want is to have the fastest nodes to be able to really front-run. And what we will front-run is the major tokens on different chains and the biggest trades on different chains also, in order to maximize, let's say, the gains we could generate out of it. We're not going to try to hammer little investors with their small trades. We will really target the biggest one and try to be on the fastest nodes to be able to be the first front running. So for the front run bot to run, we need to generate a minimum, let's say, minimum source of income, and then it will auto feed itself and generate enough gains to auto maintain and auto operate alone. Okay, so we have an entry ticket, so that's why we didn't cap the raise, because the more we can raise, the faster we can let's say operate and launch the front run bots. So the technology exists. The only thing we need to know to buy is the access to the fastest nodes and let's say the efficient servers, in order to be able to have that front run bot being the most efficient that we can have.
Awesome. All right. Now, Chris, when you guys launch your project into the ETH chain, what will be ready? And can you give us some kind of like an estimated timeline for this on the front run, on the arbitrage bot, on the miners? When do you foresee all these going to be fully functional and ready?
So Arbitrage is ready already, so it will be up and running at launch. The mining fleet, as I said, we already have 30 miners turning, so that will be ready for launch also. The Frontrun bot is another story because it depends not on time, but on funds. So as long as we don't reach the critical mass to be able to operate it, we won't take the risk to invest too much into something that we couldn't control. So the idea is, as long as we have the means to launch it, we will launch it within a week or two, because we already identified what we need to do and what we need to buy, let's say. The only point is we need to have the funds for it. At 700K, we would more invest into mining fleet and arbitrage bot because we know it can generate and accumulate a lot of value, and then launch the Frontrun bots. If we reach more, let's say over 1 million, we'll be ready to launch the Frontrun bot. Yeah.
Okay, and I think because I think you may be able to achieve that because you're already at 700K, and that ends on Saturday here, guys, and you also have the pre-sale coming up as well. I think you're going to be meeting that goal, or if not very close to it.
I think we're confident that there's some things that are coming together. There won't be any pre-sale unless I'm missing something. This is the only phase that we have that ends on Saturday, and I'm going to take this opportunity to also say that when you do a math on your daily liability, the amount of nodes that are being sold, and then how you intend to offset with just the rebalancing bot, those ratios are perfect. Actually, we're way ahead of the game there. What we haven't gotten to yet is we do have NFTs that are coming in a few weeks. We didn't want it to introduce the NFT mechanism into the project just yet, which will be a basic your booster NFTs. I think the project wanted to showcase what it's capable of doing. People get comfortable with it. They see everything's working fine. Then we will introduce those booster NFTs, and you can find that information on the website. And raise from that will automatically finance some of those things. If we might even get to it before that, but there's some things that are coming down the line. But team felt more comfortable, if you will, to showcase the project, show it's actually working, and see the token price rising every day, see people able to cash in their rewards. And then you introduce this booster NFTs into the project where people can boost their rewards from between 5 to 25%. And then you're able to sell that, right? Because everybody would want to buy something that they actually see already working. And from there, you could use the funds to do what you really want to do and keep progressing on your roadmap. So there are things that are already built into the project with every contingency. But I think we probably will get to 1 mil before that, and a lot of those things will come into fruition. But it meats and bones of the project, based on what the liability on the books already have, the rebalancing bot should take care of that on its own, if not more. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right, and I would even say more. We projected the best case scenario, and our best case scenario is to have 1,000 miners fleet, which would generate 1.5 BTC per day, to have between 20 to 50K in 50 different LPs. So just do the math and you'll see the number is huge. And to have a Frontrun bot that will be running and having an operational cost about roughly $300,000 per month. So yeah, we are talking about millions, and the idea is the bigger we start, the better we'll generate. So clearly we have no limit on it because we see the system is auto-feeding itself, and will auto-feed itself faster if we can start bigger. Reaching the million is the first milestone. Then anyway, the system will auto-feed itself. We don't, again, I don't like to say that because it kind of prevent the trading or whatever. But if we don't have much buyers after the launch, anyway, the global system will feed the buy pressure, and we'll see the token price going up regularly, slowly, steadily, and people will be happy because they will be able to cash in what they invested. So it's really, I mean, it's globally a virtuous circle.
Yes, it is, Chris, and I definitely see it, and I appreciate the clarification there, Cuzzo. So this is actually their last phase, and it ends on Saturday, guys. So there isn't another round, and I want to point out one thing Cuzzo said earlier is that they're actually selling notes. What it means is that these notes will gives you guys rewards, right? So what that means is that there's not going to be a lot of tokens on the marketplace to sell, right? And just like Chris said there, it may be slow in the beginning, but as soon as the system itself, this external revenue start to kick in and people start seeing the rewards, I think it will catch on very fast. So yeah, it's like the full circle, like Chris said there. It's actually a very interesting concept, very well thought out. And I love the fact that, Chris, you have every single number there is, man. 300K per month, that's the goal. That's a lot of money, and that's external. And you don't see a lot of projects do that. So, that tells me that you guys are very serious about the project. You guys have a good team. You guys really thought everything out, because a shit project would not think this deep. I hate to say it, we bring a lot of projects, then they don't know the numbers, right? And that's an issue. You cannot operate a business without knowing your numbers. So I'm very happy to hear you talk about numbers there, Chris.
Yeah.
And I will say Chris's numbers are always conservative.
Yeah, we try to keep security and let's say reality our top priority. And as part of the security, for example, the wallet for the private sale is a multi-sig wallet, 3 to 5. So we have 5 owners on the wallet and 3 validators to be able to move funds or do whatever. So we are clearly on the safe side on every aspect of the project.
Awesome. And you guys will have NFT boosted coming out that can also boost your notes from 5 to 25%, like Cuzzo said there, which is awesome. Now, the last thing that we have going on is your DEX, correct?
Yeah, so the DEX that we will be launching is just a pass-through DEX from Uniswap. That's the V1. We are foreseeing 2 more developments. The first one would be a proprietary DEX with our own AMM, okay? And we foresee also in the future to launch our own blockchain, and we might propose the opportunity to create such equivalent projects like Ethereal on our own blockchain and generate a lot of incomes through the blockchain, and even most probably propose free gas fee on the on the blockchain.
Wow, that's very interesting. So it seems like your DEX is going to be massive. I did read on your white paper that you guys will have other important functionalities like the stop loss, the limit, and etc. Pretty much everything encompassed into one DEX. That's what you guys trying to do, right? And also, when do you foresee that coming out there, Chris?
Yeah, we don't foresee to copy what's existing. We foresee to bring something new, something enhanced from what we can find currently on the cryptosphere.
Awesome. Very ambitious. Very well thought out. Ah, man. Yeah, I think you guys put together a very awesome project here.
Thanks, Seattle. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'll say it again. If you, whatever you hate in the crypto projects that you usually invest in, make a checklist, and then go ahead and bring that checklist over to Ethereal and try to check things that have been taken care of. In the private sale, people get tokens. Are they going to dump at launch? Well, we don't have that. If we're getting rewards, where are they getting money? These are the revenue streams. Okay, I'm sold on utilities every day, but nothing's ready. Well, this is ready. So you could go down the line. And actually, it was a very intelligent question asked in our main chat today. Somebody said, if you can create a system that does not require anybody else to buy after it's launched once, why would you share it with the world? And I thought about it as a great question. Like, why would you share something like this, right? This is why if you wanted to buy a Frontrun bot or Arbitrage bot, nobody sells it to you. The reason for this is if you look at the roadmap, and this is what some of the things that you just mentioned, the DEX and the blockchain that's coming, there is a plan in place for this project to grow to be one of those once a lifetime projects that if it continues down this path, you will understand why this could be a gift of a lifetime to get into a project that's self-sustaining and normally a technology that we should not be and would not be shared with the normal public because it just runs on itself. It's a money printer in a way if you build it, right? But it's allowed to be here to bring investors in. And once people get in, and I say that, and sometimes team members hate me for saying this, that technical, like if you really sit down and think about it, it shouldn't need investors to buy in after it launches, right? It should just self-sustain and continue to sell, continue rising your token price and continue rewarding people every single day. With the booster NFTs coming, you can fund other things and it can continue the path. But if you really want to create that mega project, that top 50 token, then you're going to require certain things to go down the line. And if you look at the roadmap, you see the exchange, you see the blockchain that's going to be developed and why the projects would want to come over. So then those things start to make sense that why it's an inclusive type of project where the tech is being built that it's normally not shared. It's self-sustaining, but it is an open invitation to people to come in, join, test it, see it, and then get involved in it. So that's why I don't prepare notes when I get on AMA. I don't have any organized way of saying things because there's so much going on. And I like to speak from whatever the subject's being talked about. So that's why I didn't want it to sound any confusing or anything to people. But when I said originally, if you're listening to this AMA could change your life. It is not like the project that you ever heard of. So that's why kick the tires, make a list of the tokens that you might be interested in or you invested in, any of the passive income mechanisms that are out there, then compare to Ethereal and see if this is worth your while. So yeah, it's complicated. I try to dumb it down as much as I can for myself too, mainly. But it's complicated. But in all reality, all you have to know that if you could rebalance a liquidity of one token, if you think that's possible, which it is, right? Based on if we pair the tokens liquidities that you out there go see, that it's paired with Ethereum. When Ethereum price goes up, you have noticed that market cap of the token that you currently invested in goes up, right? If you see that's happening, and if you can find a way to leverage that, now there's a money for you. And now you can multiply that, like Chris said, times 50. Now you can multiply that 24 hours a day. What does that do for you? So once those things make sense to you, that light bulb that goes off, then you have a project that you want to invest in. So that's what I want to leave you with.
I appreciate that, Kazo. I appreciate you coming through and kind of emphasize and touch on some of the things that are important things that we may have gone quickly over or not too in depth there, just to clarify everything. So appreciate that. Yeah, and I think one thing that you also mentioned there is, and I forgot to talk about, is the blockchain. So you guys do also plan to build your own layer 1 blockchain as well. And is that like something that's on the plan? That's not like in the near future, is it?
It is something that is on the plan. We've already acquired, let's say, the core software, but we have to, let's say, build the whole utility around it, build the nodes, the servers, and everything. So it's not ready tomorrow for sure. But let's say, as long as the project will grow the team also. We'll acquire all the skills needed to end up that development. But we have the core software, which is already acquired by the founders. And I would like to emphasize also the second vision of the founders here. I told you his first vision was to beat the sell pressure. The second vision was to stop trading time for money. Okay, so clearly their aim is here. Those two principles, and this is exactly what they are aiming to. Why do we share it with people? Also because we need means. I mean, either you're millionaire or billionaire, and in that case you don't need anyone, and you can do it in your corner, or you just propose to people to invest into it. You grow the global base, you grow the global investment, and you can start faster your project, which means that you can generate faster also. Globally, the team is investors also. So if investors gain, we gain. If investors lose, we lose.
Yeah, appreciate that there, Chris. Yeah, I mean, you guys have thought out, very well thought out, very strategic in your approach on things. And again, with every business, right? We all heard about, we all heard great concepts and great ideas before, right? But when it comes down to it, it's all about implementation. Now, in speaking to you guys, seems like you guys are very technical people. So I think you guys. I look forward to see the execution, the implementation here from the team, because I think the plan, the idea is there. So I look forward to that. With that said, though, Chris, Cuzzo, you guys have anything to speak on before we take some of the questions from the community?
I think we covered it comprehensively here. So looking forward to the questions, guys. Go for it.
All right. With that said, Mike's going to keep tracking questions in the room, and he's going to come on and read some of the questions away.
All right. What's up, guys? Cuzzo, Chris, it was absolutely an amazing presentation there. I do have a couple of questions I'm going to start off with myself here. Speaking on the technical side, it's been a long time since I've done anything with the mining side. Now, would you recommend today CPU or GPU mining? And what's the average cost of a rig to mine these days?
ASIC mining, no CPU, no GPU. I mean, the dedicated ASIC, definitely, because we are trying to target dedicated coins, dedicated tokens, and the point is clearly CPU or GPU is not efficient at all because they are multi-purpose hardware, and clearly an ASIC is much more efficient in terms of, let's say, energy, transformation of energy into hash rate.
100%. Yeah, that's very well said there, because that's one of the biggest things back in the day is that energy cost to actually being able to mine and getting some profits was very short for most people if you didn't have some astronomical expensive unit, right? So the second part of that question there, Chris, what's the average cost of a mining unit these days? A single mining unit?
Yeah, the current cost, I mean, we are buying brand new miners, trying to buy the latest ones, so the best, let's say, joule efficient ones. Globally, we are between 3 and 5K per miner. The price went down because Bitcoin is down, which is good. 1 year ago, or 1 year and a half ago, you would buy those same miners for 25K. 4 years ago, you would buy them for 2K. So the price of a miner is directly dependent on the coin itself price. We are on a low, so that's an opportunity to buy a good fleet for nothing. Nothing.
That makes sense. Yeah. Buy as many as you can, while it's low, 100%. And then, I heard that figure recently as well, about $3 to $5 grand per unit to make it actually acceptable for you. All right, I appreciate that. Before I get into some of the text questions here, USA community, I always urge anybody who would want to ask your question on voice, please feel free to either interrupt me or ask your question at any point, and I'm going to get into some of these questions. Edit, hey, how's it going?
Hi. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So I have a question. So looking at your roadmap in your website here, I can see you have 5 phases, which is quite broad and easy to understand. But we'll be looking forward. Is there anything you'll be looking forward to add or remove from the roadmap in the long run?
Well, our roadmap is very busy. It's comprehensive and it's challenging. And I feel if we could get to all of that as soon as possible, I don't think anybody would complain. But as far as adding more stuff, I wouldn't say anything at this point. But aside from that, we have benchmarks set up, especially coming down with the NFTs that soon after launch. So yeah, there's DAX and there's blockchain, there's exchange. So there's a lot there. But as far as revenues come, there are opportunities that arise in real world and in crypto world all the time. So I'm sure the team will be looking at that. But aside from that, your PFP, a kid called Beast, I'm a big fan, and that hash mark of Bag Me, bro. I wish I'd owned one of those NFTs. So if you do own them, props to you. Love it.
Okay, interesting. So also about the arbitrage bot, will it be possible for investors or users to configure based on their own, like to configure it on how they want it, or is it all configured by the team, or like I just want to know?
Yeah, that's configured.
The arbitrage
Sorry,
is
Chris,
not
go ahead.
public. Yeah, the arbitrage bot is not public. So it's an internal tech. We are not sharing it, but we are sharing let's say, the revenue generated from it. But no private investor can use or operate the arbitrage bot.
Okay, all right, awesome. Thank you very much.
Great question there, Edit. Does anybody else have a question on voice before I jump into some of these text questions? Okay, where was I just here? I just missed my spot. There we go. Oh, hey, Dave, do you have a question?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Go for it, brother.
So I'm going through your white paper. I see a lot of BNB arrays during the private sale. But sadly to say, there are no vesting. I just want to know, will the vesting be available?
I don't believe I understood the question. Chris, did you?
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, I said,
Go ahead, Dave. Ask it again. You there, Dave?
I'm audible?
Hey, can you ask that question again there, please? We couldn't quite understand you.
Okay. I said, going through the white paper, I see a lot of BNB arrays during the private sale. So I just want to know, will there be a lot of vesting available?
Okay, if I understood it correctly, you're asking if that raise is vested. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, these are nodes purchases. Essentially, they are like NFTs, if you will. If I oversimplify it, those are not loose tokens. So means that people don't have those tokens to sell or anything. Those are forever staked or vested, if you will, and they are against the daily rewards they will be earning. So at that raise that we had, over 700,000, I believe 99% of that is in nodes, means there are no loose tokens that could be dumped. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, bro.
Yeah.
There is no
Also,
vesting whatsoever. Yeah. Sorry, Dave. There is no vesting whatsoever because the principle is clear. You buy tokens and you exchange them against nodes. Okay. Once you have nodes, you have perpetual passive income coming to you on a daily basis. Depending on the size of your nodes, the yield is different. The bigger the nodes, the bigger the yield. So there's no vesting at all.
I also want to know what are the precautions you take to avoid manipulation of allocation process? You get my question?
No, Dave, I did not.
If you are talking manipulation about the assets,
Yeah.
there's no manipulation possible. Yeah, there's no manipulation possible because, first of all, as I said, all the funds are in a multi-sig wallet. And once we will start the launch, all those funds will go into the LP, so into the treasury contract. So everything will be automated there. And the treasury contract is also under the control of the multi-sig wallet. So there is no individual that can access the funds. It's always three people that has to, let's say, validate any movement or any transaction we would do.
Thanks for the great answers. To the moon with your project.
Thanks, Dave.
Appreciate that, Dave. All right, I'm going to take a couple of text questions here. Like always, if anybody else wants to ask anything on voice, please feel free to. First one's coming in from Certified Loaner. So talking about the front-run bots, as these are starting to be targeted while creating a smart contract for safety, is there any features that your front-run bot will detect as if there's an anti-bot feature in the contract where it would sell out before you could catch a blacklist function?
So the point is, we are not on a snipe bot, okay? So there's no blacklist function or whatever. I mean, blacklist function, you find them often on token being launched. The front run bot will front run trades on existing projects token. So you take, for example, Shiba. A guy wants to buy $100,000 of Shiba. We will front run him, buy before him, and sell after him, okay, to generate a source of income. We are not sniping launching projects. We are front running existing projects and existing trades. We are just getting a better priority on chain.
Makes perfect sense. Appreciate that explanation there, Chris. Next question is rolling in from Kelvin K, and this is about the U.S. government here, how they're planning to taxing all mining companies at 30% tax. Do you feel that this is going to affect you guys at all if this actually is implemented?
I know the founders have lawyers working on the legal subject. I can't say if there is any let's say any outcome out of it. It's still a low project, which means that for the moment it's not set yet. And we've been hearing in the past years a lot of regulation coming, and really a few of them went out. Just look at what happened with XRP and the SEC, and you will understand that crypto are still a bit out of the blue here.
So I'll just go ahead and further say to that it's not like the team has their heads buried in the sand, and they're constantly reviewing these things, consulting with tax attorneys and the other attorneys. So rest assured, whatever protocol, whatever law has to be followed, will be followed, and whatever burden that puts on all of us, and it is what it is, and we'll just have to deal with it. But yeah. That's all I will say to that subject.
Appreciate that, Kazo, Chris. Next one's rolling in from Austin Christopher here. It says, will the team consider implementing a task to an investor to have to carry out, which will increase the mining strength or rate of the investor? Some of the tasks such could provide an invitation link to the DApp to help raise awareness. Would there be any sort of kickback to the community in a sense, or the single investor for inviting?
If he's speaking about a referral system of some kind, I think we shied away from that for the most part, but I wouldn't rule anything out in the future to to get more exposure going in any area of the project. So I would say not right now, but it's not a no.
Okay, not right now, but not a no. Perfect. Appreciate that. His last question
We had something going on earlier for the private.
Sorry, I kind of interrupted you there, Chris. Can you say that again?
Yeah, we had something going on earlier before the private kind of referral system where we were offering nodes to let's say the best contributors. But it's over now. Once the project is launched, except the yield that is given by the nodes plus the NFT boosters, for the moment we don't foresee any other, let's say, boosting mechanism for the nodes yield.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Next question is rolling in from Angel here, guys. Is this talking about your white paper? What does the sentence mean in your white paper? Nodes that have stipulations upon purchase and may or may not be available at a certain time. What kind of conditions are you talking about?
Okay.
This is interesting. Go, Kizo.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead. Take it.
Okay, so the aim is simple. We created the nodes. Okay, so we have the 4 main standard nodes that you can buy and build: free token, 10 token, 30 token, 100 token. For this raise, as I said at the beginning, we decided to go big. Okay, so we decided to open the private to any kind of investor. So free token is $75 investment, which is really low. Okay, and we were going up to 100 tokens, which is $7,500 investment. We decided to open dedicated bigger nodes for bigger investors, VCs. Okay. Only during the private, if they wanted to contribute and help us raise more fund faster. Inside the 700K, we have a few big contributors, which are, let's say, 20K, 50K, or 100K contributors, which helped us raising the 700K. We have also an agreement with a VC to inject 2 million into the project. Yet it's still to be signed. So as long as it's not done, we don't count it as an income, a source of income, or a private contribution. So yeah, the idea was, okay, we proposed bigger nodes at the beginning for bigger investors, but we know that the mass of investors would not invest that much money because first, we need to prove that we work and it's normal. So the standard nodes from $75 to $7,500 investments are the most common ones.
Just add to that. Basically, what it means is the nodes, the higher nodes that the people are purchasing in this private sale, they may not be sold ever again. So I saw something that the partner nodes or executive nodes will also be taken offline. So what we're trying to do is to make sure the project's sustainable. So those things that were offered, they may not be offered again, and people will always be able to buy some nodes, but not the higher ones that pay out higher rewards. But you could always collect them. You can make multiple nodes. But as far as those super high paying out nodes, they may never be offered again. That's what it basically means. Hopefully that answers your question.
I think it does. I appreciate that. And actually, while we're still on the same subject of the nodes, Matt has a question here regarding basically what we were just saying, the ability to upgrade a node. I understand that you can upgrade nodes, when you say collecting rewards, can you combine them? For example, if you had 2 opaque nodes plus 40 real is the equivalent amount of 100. Could they be combined to make a master node or some better node?
Yes. The answer is yes. The upgradability of the nodes is integrated in the contract. So you can accumulate several nodes of a type. And once you have the equivalent of let's say the upper node, you can upgrade them and benefit a better yield.
Perfect. Makes 100% sense. Next question I'm going to take is from Deanna. And I'd like to remind the community, if you got any questions, please feel free to on voice. Next one's from Deanna is, what role do the NFT boosters play in the daily rewards of nodes holders? And what benefits do they offer? Will there also be some sort of limit of the amount of a boost of NFT?
So the NFT boosters are like their name, they boost the yield. So we'll have 5 types of NFTs, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, and 25% boost, which means that if you have a yield of 0.4% and you have an NFT 25%, if you stake your NFT on your node, you'll be able to boost your node type by 25% daily, perpetually, as long as the NFT is on it, okay? And you can stake up to 2 NFTs on each node type you have. Beware, we'll only inject 2,000 NFTs, which means that the supply is limited, and for sure they will be harshly, let's say, battled, because if you can put 2 NFTs per node type, and we have 4 different node types, you can realize that a single investor, if he has 8 NFTs, can boost all his node types twice, and let's say optimize at maximum his rewards on a daily basis. But 8 NFTs on one investor, if you do just the math, overall, it means that not more than 250 investors could boost all their nodes if they have 4 nodes types, okay? So again, the NFTs might be battled quite severely, and they will be available on OpenSea and tradable.
Yeah, I'll just add to that those NFTs will come a few weeks after the launch. We do realize that people need to see the project work well. The token price will be taken into account. I will say that those NFTs will not be cheap because the value they will hold and what they will do to your nodes. And as Chris said, those will be open for trading on the secondary. But yes, they will not be cheap. So I think it's a random draw, Chris, if I'm not making a mistake, on what boost you get on the NFT.
Yes, when we launch them, they will all have the same facing, let's say, and the reward boost won't be displayed immediately, so we will sell them, and at some point we will reveal the boost on each NFT, and then people will be able to, let's say, trade them or exchange them or whatever on OpenSea or use them.
And I think the second part of the question was, what exactly does that do for a project? And we went over this earlier, that our intentions are to get this Frontrun bot up and running and expand the mining facility. So this is why the NFT release was planned a little bit later, to make sure, one, that you showcase and prove yourself, and second, that you're able to do a decent amount of raise that you can fund those utilities that will further enhance your investment.
Perfect. Appreciate that answers. All right. So you said there's going to be a couple thousand maximum that'll allow between the nodes and all the investors. Now, what is going to be, and if you have any, a total supply of your NFTs? And you said there's going to be 2 per node for a maximum of 8. So there's a maximum of 8 per wallet is what you're saying. And then you have a chance, say it's, $5,000 per NFT. That's the base period. Now you can get a 5% or 25% as a random chance, right?
The amount of the NFTs are 2,000, I believe. Chris, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, the number of NFTs is 2,000 that will be minted in total, and they will have between 5 and 25% boost rate. For sure, the 25% will be less numerous than the 5%. We are currently working on, let's say, the balancing within the 2,000. We want something that remains, let's say, logical and wouldn't jeopardize the project itself. just keep in mind, as long as you have even 5% boost, it's 5% perpetually on your nodes. So if you have master nodes, I mean, the boost can be significant.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Talking about the NFTs there. All right, moving on to, I hope I said this right, Mishu. Imagine you had $45 million in liquidity in your initial. You got to split this between your pairs, bots, and miners. Have you run simulations to kind to see what's going to be your best outcomes in some scenarios?
Actually, I think the team has. Chris, go ahead and take that one.
We didn't do the simulation with 45 million. We didn't do the simulation with 45 million, to be honest. But what we know is we would invest. I mean, once up to 1 million, we would invest 50-50 into the arbitrage and the mining fleet. We would integrate the Frontrun bot into it, and that would be one third globally of the investment that would be split. And the bigger the better for sure. But we can't know exactly where we will go. On the arbitrage bot, we know that if we have LPs between 20 to 50K per LP and 50 LPs, we might be able to generate between 1 to 1.5% of the global LP value in the arbitrage bot on a daily basis, which is huge. On the mining fleet, we know roughly the yield. I told you 1,000 miners as target, which is roughly $4 million investment for 1.5 BTC per day. So you can do the math. You see the investment versus the reward. And as for the Frontrun bot, the only thing we know is it has an operational cost of several $100,000 per month. And the revenue generated has to cover that at least and go over. And we expect at least a double or a triple of the value.
Yeah, but I think that was a backhanded question for you to try to tell him if you had that much money, what will be the token price? Do you care to project that? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I think that's where he was going with that.
I would never do that. I would never project the token price, and I will tell you why. If there is something I can't promise is a price of a token, because the price of the token is dependent on the sell and the buy, so the demand and the offer. Okay, and this we cannot control it. We can know what we would be able to generate from a certain value from our techs. Okay, and it depends also on the market conditions. We would generate plus or minus, but globally, projecting the price of the token is really, really hazardous. What I can tell you is we aim to have the token increasing in value non-stop. So if you project over time, there's no limit. I mean, the token will start at $30 a token, I guess. We might reach $100 quite easy, in a few weeks or month. We'll see. I don't know. We also have some contingency mechanism because at some point, if the token goes too high in value, we'll create a kind of sell pressure on it to be able to regulate it because we don't want the project to overheat, which is important also because if you go too fast, too high, you generate a real big difference between the LP and your market cap, and you create a huge instability on the chart. So we want something steady. We want something that will, let's say, rise healthily. Okay. So once again, we thought about the different mechanism. We still have a bit in the back to regulate and ensure that we will rise normally and not totally, let's say, haywirely.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there, and there's a lot to read between the lines. But team is very excited, and I said it earlier that team will keep an eye on it, that it does not get out of hand. So, but yeah, we're super excited, and what we're looking at it, doing all the math and the test results, and I think you already disclosed the number on one pair. what the returns were, 66 ETH, and trying to inject that into your project every single day and what it looks like on the token number. So, yeah, enough said. Next question, please.
I appreciate that breakdown. It is a unforeseeable, projection there. So one of the last questions I'll take here, and actually I got to check over on Twitter as well. I don't think we talked on this part. Any partners or collaborations you're working with or looking to onboard in the near future?
Well, I'll answer it this way. The team has met with Nillion Project in London in person. I believe the whole core team met there once. There have been some discussions, but I don't think we're ready to disclose or say anything at this point. But those things are definitely on deck to discuss after we launch.
Oh, okay, I appreciate that, Cuzzo. I just seen another one here rolling from. Hold on, guys, I'm sorry. 1 second. That's my son there. Sorry. Anyways, Fisheye777 is, I bought in 2 years ago to your private sale, and this question is, what was the reason behind you stopping selling your loose tokens?
It's quite simple. That we are trying everything possible to make sure that the sell pressure is as minimal as possible. And we are a passive income project. It's based on daily rewards. So the loose tokens have certain type of trading behaviors behind it. If you love the project, if you love the team, if you like the tech, then you should look at this project as a passive income via nodes and not loose tokens to sell or dump anytime you want. We had that open earlier, but looking at what has been sold and projecting what the launch looks like, it was just a smart decision to discontinue selling loose tokens. But on launch, feel free to buy any kind of loose tokens you want. But as far as the private goes, we're not selling them anymore.
Okay, makes sense.
And I would add that from the raise, we had less than 1% of loose tokens. So we decided to stop it because that's clearly not significant.
Right, wow. Less than 1% on total raise so far. That's quite amazing. Appreciate that. Cuzzo, Chris, that's all the questions I'm really seeing that hasn't really been answered here. And if I did, if I did miss any, USA, head on over to Ethereal Nodez Telegram, ask your questions, and I'm sure they'll get answered right away. But Chris, Cuzzo, I really appreciate you coming in today. Great explanations, very well articulated. And I'm going to kick it back to Seattle. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
Mike.
Amazing.
And I appreciate everyone for the questions there. Oh, sorry about that. We keep cutting each other's off there. Was that you, Cuzzo? Go ahead.
No, Seattle, please go ahead.
I just want to say I appreciate all the questions and thanks, Mike. Cuzzo, Chris, man, I think you guys did a very good job articulating yourself, and I think the project is actually very well thought out. I think you guys thought out all the technicalities of the project, and I really look forward to see the execution and implementation of the project. I think you guys have something here very special.
Thanks, Seattle. Thanks, Mike. It's been fun. It's one of the longest AMAs we've ever done, but there's a lot there. So I'm glad we were able to cover most of it. But if anybody has questions, like you guys said, you can DM any of the team members or go in our chat. We're happy to chat with you. Happy to answer any of your questions. But definitely do your research a little bit and have some knowledge of what this project is, and approach those questions based on if you are looking for a project that gives you daily rewards and improve your life every day, just a little bit.
100%. And I think just to kind of recap here, I'll differentiate about this project and a lot of the projects in the space, right, that promise rewards is that you guys have external revenue coming in. You guys have 3 streams of external revenue coming in, which is very important. I think it needs to be that in order to sustain for a long time, right? It needs to have an external revenue stream of revenue coming in. And I think you guys do have that. So again, Chris, Kuzo, I really appreciate you guys being here at USA Crypto Group along with everyone here. This is not financial advice, guys. Like always, do your own research, and there's no commitment to the team. Do you have last word to leave us with, Chris, Kuzo? If not, we will do the giveaway.
No, nothing. I think we're pretty much covered it. And anybody who's going to go back and listen to this AMA, and I highly recommend it, you should be able to understand the whole project. And we can't wait to have you guys in RTG and participate in some of the things that we're doing and some of the things that we're revealing every single day.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that we'd like to do, Kuzo and Chris, is that we'd like to raise awareness to your Telegram room. So we'd like to pin your Telegram room and have our community go there. And Mike comes over, he will pick one $10 winner. Is that something that you want us to do?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I'm not sure. I think Fran had set this up. So whatever was promised or anything like that, we don't have an issue. Did you say like $10 giveaway? What?
Oh, no, that's all on us. That's all on us. That's part of the AMA that we'd like to do for everyone that comes in. Is to further raise awareness to your Telegram room by sending people over there. If that's something that you want us to do, we'll do it for you.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay. All right, perfect. So with that, guys, the link to the pre-sale or the last phase here that ends on Saturday, that's pinned on top. If you guys are interested, I think the team is legit. Very well thought out project. And I look forward to see the execution. Johnny is gonna post the Telegram. Make sure you guys go there, and Mike's gonna come pick the winner. Make sure you guys take part of the take part in the project. It seems like this project is very legit. So Johnny's gonna pin that. And again, Chris, Kuzo, I appreciate you guys again coming here at US Crypto Group, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Seattle. Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate it, really.
I see Trav.
Thank you, guys.
Is Trav here? Trav, what's up, man? I see Trav Rose, great AMA in the room there, but apparently he's not on voice.
Oh, I was gonna say I didn't see him to type him down. All right, guys. Well, you know what time it is? It is giveaway time. Like always, we're going to do $20 for random participants. We're going to have them all, like always. And we do have a current Twitter giveaway going, which will go all the way till tomorrow. $25 there. All you got to do is like, comment, retweet, and we'll be over there to pick winners there as well. Always, best question as well. And like Seattle said, Johnny's over in the main group right now pinning the Ethereal Node Telegram. Go over there, drop a sticker. I'll be over there shortly. Pick another $10 winner. That being said, let me shuffle this up, guys, and grab our winner. Boop, 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 boop. Blue Rubber Duck. Congratulations, won yourself $20. That is it for the wheel, guys. And I think they might have left. I will. Is he still here? Chris? Are you still here, Chris? And Kuzo?
Yeah.
There you are. Chris, as soon as we're over here, I'm going to get everything uploaded to YouTube and get you guys a copy ASAP. And that is it from us on USA. I appreciate you guys coming in tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Chris.